Hello and welcome to Cardboard History. I'm David, and today I would like to share what I believe are the 10 most iconic baseball cards of all time. So this is a bit of a video response to Mike Moynihan, baseball collector, and he challenged everyone to share what they believe are the 10 most iconic, and then he's compiling those to see what the overall results are. So how I went about this is I tried to do it as unbiased as possible. And that means I didn't look at anybody else's list, I didn't watch any other videos, I didn't Google any, most iconic cards. I just went from my memory. So that means I could very well be forgetting a very iconic card. But I wrote down what I thought were the 30, 31 most iconic cards of all time, and then kind of went backwards by process of elimination and came with the top 10. So what I did was I put in the description below, I'll put my kind of the top 10 as well as what I thought were kind of numbers 11 through 20 and then 21 through 30 in no particular order. But I'll talk a little bit about which was my first card outside of the top 10. So to start with the top 10, I think there are three cards that hands down should be on everyone's list. I don't think these are questioned as iconic cards. And the first one is widely considered the Grail card, and that is none other than the T206 Honus Wagner. This card is steeped in lore and mystery and why it was short printed and stories behind that. And this card, anytime it comes up for auction, even in terrible or altered condition, fetches big money. It's a card that everyone who's a collector says would love to have that, but don't ever plan on having it for the most part. It is such an iconic card because it's part of an iconic set, it's an iconic player, and it is extremely rare with somewhere around only 50 copies known to exist. So it being from the T206 set means that it's over 110 years old. That's right, yeah, 110, 115 years old at this point. So fantastic, iconic card. The second card after that is the 52 Mantle. This one also, it's not his rookie card, despite many people saying that, but it is by far the most iconic card of Mickey. And it's not nearly as rare as the Wagner card. You'll see, if you go to any show of decent size, you'll probably see at least one copy there if there's any vintage dealers. It's a card that just gets moved a lot, and in high condition, there's only 3 10s known to exist. And just a fantastic card of a great player. And because it is a high number, it's a little bit harder to find than the rest of the 1952 Topps set. So again, I don't think anybody's going to argue with this one. I think this card should be on everyone's list. Even if you think it's an overrated card, you can't deny that it's an iconic card. And then next up, that's card number 4. Let me go back here, and card number 3 I actually have, which is the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. And it's not going to focus. So this is the only card in my top 10 list that I actually own, and this card was a game changer in 1989 when Upper Deck came on the scene, and just an iconic chase card. It's just so well known from that era that even being a junk wax overproduced card, it still holds value very well. And again, an iconic player who really defined the 90s in baseball and kind of brought in this new era of collecting. So those are the top 3 that I think should be on everybody's list, no dispute. And there's kind of one for each era. You have one for pre-war, one for vintage, and then one for modern, if you consider 89 modern. It's not ultra modern, but it's in that era. Okay, so back now to number 4. I chose the T205 Christy Matthewson. I think the image is iconic. He's a fantastic player. It's from another great set from the early 1900s. And to me, this card is one that whenever I see an example at a show or something like that, it catches my attention. I want to look at it. I just think the artistry and everything in this card is fantastic, and I think it is iconic for that reason. So that's number 4. Number 5 then is what I think most people would agree is the most iconic card of one of the most iconic players in Major League Baseball history. Certainly, Jackie Robinson had a significant impact on the game, and many would argue that no player had a greater impact on the game. And I think that's probably true. Babe Ruth definitely had an impact on the way the game was played, but Jackie completely broke the color barrier and changed who was able to play the game. And so I think this 1949 Leaf is what this card is, and it's considered his rookie card. It is 49, not 48, and just a fantastic card, especially in great condition with good registration and bright colors. So this was my choice here for card number 5. Number 6, Babe Ruth. This was a tough one because I feel like his Goudey cards are more iconic, and it'll be interesting to see what other people say, because the picture on the 33 Goudey is fantastic, but he has 4 cards in that set. So how do you pick one? I think the 4 cards kind of dilutes it. The same thing for the T206 Ty Cobbs. He has 4 cards, and that's why I didn't he doesn't make the top 10, Ty Cobb, not because he wasn't a great player, but because his most iconic cards are kind of divided. You don't say, oh, when I think of Ty Cobb, I immediately think of the red back or the green back or the bat off shoulder, bat on shoulder. People would probably be split in what they think. So with Babe Ruth, the same for the Goudey set. People have different opinions on which card of his from that set, which of the 4 they like the best. And so for that reason, I went with what's widely considered his rookie card, the M101-4 or 5. And this still shows him when he played for Boston and was a pitcher. And to me, this card is more iconic as a standalone because whenever one of these comes up for auction or is available, it certainly draws a lot of attention. And it's, I think, such an iconic card because it tells the beginning of Babe Ruth's story before he became the great Bambino in New York. So this was the Babe Ruth card that I picked. I'm sure many people will pick one of the Goudeys for Babe Ruth, but this was my choice. Next up, the Goodwin champions, King Kelly. Some people might pick the Cap Anson from this set to be one of the 10 most iconic. I went with Kelly because I think the imagery on this is just so... I'll say better. I like it better. The clouds in the background, just something about the depth of color and the way the card comes together. I think this is one of the best looking baseball cards of all time. And so for that reason, I put it down as one of my top 10 most iconic cards because it's of a great player and it's just such a beautiful card from the 19th century. Next up, I think I'm on number 8 now. Satchel Page. So this is again from the 49 Leaf, and this is considered to be his rookie card, and a player who has such a significant history in the Negro Leagues, but at the same time was able to get into the major leagues and show just how dominant of a pitcher he could have been had he been in the major leagues his entire career. And I had a hard time deciding between this and his 53 Topps card. I think this one is considered more iconic, but the 53 Topps card is also just a fantastic card that is readily recognized, but I don't think it carries the same weight as his 49 Leaf card. All right, number 9, and this one, well, we'll go to it. 2011 Topps update Mike Trout. I hesitated to go with a card ultra modern, but I think this card really tells a story about a decade of collecting from 2011 to 2021 and the pandemic and the boom and how Mike Trout's career has played out. 30 to 40 years from now, this card might not be considered as iconic, but to me, it sort of holds the same place as the Griffey card, as such an iconic card that as a base rookie card, it has such high value, and it's easily recognizable as probably the most significant base card from Topps. I thought about going with Ohtani, but something that is only 7 years old from his 2018 was too recent for me to consider iconic, and he has 2 cards in that set, so again, it gets diluted whether you pick his batting or his pitching pose. So I went with this one. I'm interested to see how many other people were willing to go this modern with an iconic card, but I think this card certainly holds a place right now in the hobby of significance, even though Trout has struggled to stay healthy and produce the same numbers that he did early in his career. He had such a strong beginning to his career that this card really catapulted into a level that no other player has been able to reach. And number 10, the 1914-15 Cracker Jack Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson is such an enigma as part of the Black Sox scandal and as a player who would have been in the Hall of Fame and now may someday actually be in the Hall of Fame. But because his career was cut short, he has such few cards, and this card just really, I think, captures a great image of him. The Cracker Jack set, again, is an iconic set, and that red background, for me, it was down to this card, and the card that I had at number 11 was the 92 SP Derek Jeter. Another card that I think is iconic, but this one, just because of the age, being almost 100 years older, won out over the Jeter. And I think Jackson's just a phenomenal story, and it's an enigma. His career and what could have been, and wondering what would his stats look like if he had played a full career. But hopefully someday here soon in the next couple of years, whenever he's up to be in the Hall of Fame, he will get his shot alongside Pete Rose. So those are what I believe to be the 10 most iconic cards in the hobby. Let me know in the comments what egregious decisions I made, or I'm sure I forgot something, but that's why I tried to number out the top 30, so I wasn't leaving anything out. And there were some cards that were really hard for me to bump from the list, like the T206 Ty Cobb, but I just felt like it didn't hold the same level as some of these other cards. So those are my thoughts. This has been Cardboard History. Go Cubs.